Oven Podcast. Your table is ready. You can follow me.
Tonight, we're sitting down in Nomia in Garden City with the legend MIMS. You probably know him best as a rapper and for his hit single, This Is Why I'm Hot. But tonight, we're going to get to know him on a more personal level. Chef says the oven's preheated, so let's get started.
All right, welcome to The Oven. You've probably seen him on top of the #1 Billboard Hot 100 list back in the late 2000s. And from songs like Move If You Wanna, This Is Why I'm Hot, Like This. But we want to know him on a more personal level tonight. So that's what we're going to do here tonight on The Oven. I want to thank you, man, for taking 3 hours out of your day to
Thanks
to
for
drive
having me
over here.
on. I trooped out from Jersey, so I kind of like, I know people hear that like, oh, you artists, you moved to Jersey. But yeah, I'm in Jersey now, and you know, I was actually Long Island native for about, I think I moved out to Long Island when I was 16, 17.
Okay.
And I lived here till I was about 24. And then I moved to Queens, like right before my career took off, I moved to Queens. But you know, Long Island has just been one of those staples in my career, in my life. So.
We're like right in your backyard right now.
Yeah, right in my backyard.
Right in your backyard. We're at Nomia, second time in Garden City. And you graduated what? Westbury High School, right?
Graduated Westbury High School, 1999. I'm gonna give my age away.
Okay,
so
okay.
Y'all like,
we won't ask. We weren't gonna ask.
Yeah, you know, I'll tell you what happened. It's an interesting story. I had a record that took off in Canada in 2001. It was a record called Love 'Em All.
Yep.
And it was the sound crew was called Baby Boop Sound Crew. It's crazy because they're actually responsible for bringing out artists like Sean Paul. They gave him his start, and a few other people. And I remember going to Ottawa. I don't know if it was Ottawa or Toronto at the time, but I had a show with like Lauryn Hill, Sum 41, Nelly Furtado, and then I'm going there on the weekends. I'm a superstar. And I'm coming back to Long Island and I'm working at Terminex. So I'm killing bugs on a weekday, and then the weekends I'm a superstar. And it's not to knock anyone's hustle because, you know, in life you gotta work. But one day I woke up and I'm like, yo, I can't go back to work. Like I just gotta go full time with the music. And great decision, I could say now, but there was about a 5-year starving artist period where my stomach, we call it stomach touching your back. You're not making any money. And you're trying to figure out how to pay bills and rent. So, you know.
Stomach touching your back. I like that.
How do you keep going? Like when you you've made the decision, you're in it, and now, like you said, you're not making any money. Stomach's touching your back.
Yeah.
You're starving. How do you keep going?
I think I tell you, I remember this conversation. My sister's father. I don't know if I get him mad every time I bring this up, but he meant well. Like I remember him sitting me down. Because I was renting an attic apartment from my sister's father's family, and they took care of me. Like I was only paying $300 a month for a room in their place, and I remember him sitting me down, and the conversation was, look, man, you're so smart. Like you can do whatever it is you want. How long are you gonna do this music thing for? You know, you got to give yourself like a time frame. And I heard the message, and I'm like, you know what? I gotta go push. And I left that after that conversation. I think within a couple of days, I flew down to Florida, and I kid you not, I never made it back to that apartment to have to move out. Like from there it was, and I needed that conversation because from there it was. I went to Florida. I took the record I had, the This Is Why I'm Hot record in my back pocket. There's a whole story behind that. And we took it to a few stations down there, and it got added into rotation at a couple of stations within a matter of like a month span. And, you know, phones started ringing, with labels calling, you know, people wanting to do deals. And I never had to worry about money in my bank ever again. After that week of going down there and going hard, I never had to worry. So the answer to that question is, I think, you if you want to be successful for many people in life, especially if you're not born with the silver spoon, you got to get to a point where your stomach is touching your back, and you got to know what that feels like, and that's what keeps you from going back into that scenario. So for me, when I had that conversation with him, it was like, okay, cool, I got to go hard, and I got to go as hard as I can go, because if I come back to Queens and I come back as, I wouldn't say a failure. I got to figure out a new life, and I don't want to do that. So that was the conversation that fueled me to kind of just go as hard as I could for whatever months it was going to be, and it worked out for me.
It's crazy how like little conversations like that, man, like they resonate so heavy. It's like learning to live uncomfortably, you know.
Yep.
Like and that's really what that's for so many people. You know, it's tough, but people don't know how to deal with that.
I say it's for musicians, we call it the rock star stage, right? So like I wasn't afraid to sleep on someone's couch. I wasn't afraid to sleep on the floor in a hotel room with 15 people if we had to, just to be on the road.
Yeah.
So it's like that rock star lifestyle, like how the rock stars were living back in the past where they would go out and tour. And I also tell people all the time, that was also the most fun I ever had because there was no expectation, you know. Even though I had the, you know, the conversation with family members about, you know, figuring out how to pivot and do other things in life, that knowing that you're out there with no expectations and then stuff starts to just work, is just now you can go on cruise control and have fun.
Yep.
And
So you know
everything
you're doing
else
something. You know you're doing something right at that point.
Exactly.
Well, you went down to Miami and you were with that's when you were recording I Did You Wrong, right?
Yeah. So I Did You Wrong is
Or Tampa rather.
No, it was
Was it Miami?
Tampa was the first. I give them credit for adding my record into rotation. There were a couple of stations that played the record and supported it. I had support in West Palm Beach.
Okay.
I had support in Fort Myers. So there's different places in Florida that played the record. I'm gonna tell you what's wild about I Did You Wrong. I had a product, actually Long Island based. The cats I worked with back then. This is like I'm going back to like 2002, 2001, 2002, 2003. I started up my own label in Long Island. And I call it a label, but the truth is that I was the only artist signed to it. So really it was just an organization of people that were willing to help cultivate my career. And one of the persons in that crew, his name is Dallas, he gave me a beat CD.
Okay.
And I listened to the beat CD. I didn't know who the beat CD was. I didn't know the producer.
Yeah.
So I took the beat CD home. I recorded a couple of records off the CD. I ripped it, like, you know, back in the day you would rip it, throw it in Pro Tools and record. And I recorded I Did You Wrong. And sent my sister's father, the same person I'm talking about. I'm in his car one day and he has a mix CD. And on this mix CD is my record. I'm like, how the heck did he get this record on who put this on a mixtape? And that was a big deal back then. As an artist, you see a record on a mixtape, you're like, yo, who is this? And he was like, yo, my boy Wes, this is his mixtape. His producer produced all these records. And I'm like, Wes, I knew Wes from a child. So my sister's father calls Wes and he goes, my sister's father's name is Troy. He calls Wes, goes, yo, Wes, who's this artist you got on your CD? He's like, yeah, that's an artist we signed. You know, he signed to our label. Mind you, he was, I don't know if I can curse, but he was BS.
No, you can do
He was bullshitting.
Clearly.
Shout out to Wes, but at that time he was bullshitting. I wasn't signed to him, but we laughed about it because I sat in the car and I'm like, he was like, do you know who he is that you have? And he's like, who? He's like, yo, that's Sean. I'm sitting with him now. And he was like, oh, that's Sean. And so obviously he was bullshit.
Right.
But that's how I ended up figuring out who actually produced the record and who the producer was. And Wes was a friend of the family, so Wes was managing the producer. Small world. Yep. Because it was no connection outside of that. So Wes was like, yo, you got to fly down there, meet up with DJ Blackout, and work on some stuff. And then me and Blackout met up. And and the rest is history. I'm gonna dig in while you.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say that. Let's start on these
I'll
appetizers.
read you the menu we got over here.
I think you didn't even wait. You don't even care what this is.
I don't care. I mean,
but you were saying you like sushi, so
that's good though.
Oh,
That's the
It's hot, but it's good.
spicy tuna, crispy rice. We got the soy garlic wings, the salted edamame, and that's the shrimp tempura.
That's banging. Woo.
Yeah, that sounds crazy.
Yeah. That's
He
good.
doesn't like the raw fish, but you gotta try that.
I'm gonna try it. No, I'm like I was just talking about like I want to get
look at-
myself
look
to
at him
like
with the
sushi.
Now I see he had to set it up for himself. You know what I think it is I'm not an expert, but I think they say your finger is is your guide. So your pointer is like really what this
like
is static.
Yeah.
This don't move, and then this is the one you kind of
How's
like.
that?
That's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, look how you've done it before. Come on.
Yeah, it might work. Might work out.
You might be a lefty.
You know I play pool. Like,
Yeah, I know. You see, I could tell he doesn't trust the raw. He had to dip it in the soy. Yeah. You know, but I get it though.
Snag one of these wings.
Yeah. Let's try this out. That's banging though.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
that's fire.
Okay.
A little soy garlic on these.
I'm a sushi guy now.
Yeah, you're in. Turned you into smoking. Turned you on to smoking, turned you into sushi.
There you go.
That's it.
So you're not like much of a smoker, huh?
I got smoke stories.
Let's hear them. We can talk about smoke stories while we're eating.
For sure. When I was, I grew up in Washington Heights early in my life, so they say home of the haze. And I know people that confirm that. Like I know one of the original persons, OGs, that brought haze up to New York. Shout out to my guy, White Boy Kev. From the block.
The actual haze.
Yeah, the actual haze.
Because you can't find that anymore. It's very tough.
He got it now, so we trying to work on that. He's got it now.
I'm going to talk after this episode.
Yeah, I got that in abundance for sure. But my brother's a big smoker, and I remember my brother was like, it's like a weekend, all of my friends are just chilling. We're still young. I think I was probably no more than 14 at the time. And they're like, yo, we about to get like a big cypher going on, and everybody's just gonna bring something different. And I smoked previous to that, but never, I've like taken inhales, but never really like anything serious. So I never really felt the effects of being high. And that day, I decided to be a part of the cypher. And, blunts coming left and right. It's just rotating. I'm in a room, and I don't remember anything. I just remember laying out on the floor at one point, and my mind just left me. But I like to tell people the wildest part about the story is that I used to be on a swimming team when I was in high school.
Okay.
Before I transferred out to Westbury.
We heard you're a fish, bro.
Yeah, I can get.
Someone said Michael Phelps.
I can get busy in the pool. And I remember going to practice that day, and I couldn't feel my legs. That's how high I was. Like the next day, I went to practice, and my legs wouldn't work in the swimming pool. So I'm like, yo. So that point, I was like, yo, I can't. I'm not a smoker. Like I can't do it. And then fast forward many years later, career took off. Got money in the bank. I don't really have to worry about the stigma of what life is. If I'm going out somewhere, I could chill and relax. So I decided I was going to do an edible.
Oh, man.
And mind you, this is coming off of not smoking weed for like 20 years, whatever it is. I was in Colorado. I took an edible right before my show, and it didn't work. So I'm like, yo, I called my partner. I'm like, yo, this didn't work, man. What's going on? He was like, yeah, not for me either. I was like, all right, so what? He's like, I just took another one. I said, all right, cool. Popped another one.
That's when it gets you.
Before a show.
Within 10 minutes, I kid you not, I'm in the room, I'm listening to Curtis Mayfield. I got the record on repeat. And that moment, that I don't know if it was like a loop. I felt like my life just looped. Like it was just looping in a circle. I kept trying to tie my shoe for like a good half hour. I was trying to tie my shoe, and I knew I fucked up because I couldn't remember nothing. I said, how am I going to go on stage? My mind just keeps repeating itself. And then I remember I did the show. The show was, what I think, if anyone's got footage, it was in Colorado State University, I think. I'm not mistaken. I performed. I was high as hell. I apologize now.
All these years later.
and I'm not a rude person. So here's how you know I fucked up. There was a girl that was there all night, and she was just talking in my ear. And I know now what it means to someone to mess up your high. Because the whole night she was talking in my ear, and I had to look at somebody, and I was like, yo, please get her the fuck out of here. And I got her kicked out. And that's how I know I was high, because that is not in my wheelbarrow to do. And then that was my edible story. And then the edible kind of got me a little bit more immunity. So occasionally now I'll like dibble and dabble. If I'm in Jamaica, I'll smoke a little, but I'm not. Yeah,
it's all time and place now.
Yeah, time and place. Yeah. Jamaica, I say, is the one and only place right now.
The one and only place.
One and only place is Jamaica. You catch me out there, give me the straight yard weed. I don't need the
straight yard weed.
I don't want this. Don't give me nothing from no lab because I can't handle it. I want to see it come out the ground.
You want the earthy stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I agree. I had a great time when I smoked in Jamaica. That was like the best highs I think that I ever had. Because again, I'm not a big smoker. My uncle gave me the necklace. He's like, hey, wear this necklace. I promise you get off the plane, someone's going to come up to you. I was like, yeah, okay, bro. I got one of those uncles that like thinks he's still the man,
Yeah.
He wasn't wrong.
Uncle Russell?
Uncle Russell?
Uncle Russell actually is the man.
Okay, got it. Anybody named Uncle Russell sounds like that, man. Yeah.
Guy comes up to me right away. He's like, "Oh, so you got the necklace on?" He's like, "You want some?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, I'll meet you at the bar over there." Comes, give him $60, bag like this. We were set for a couple days.
Nice. Yeah, I'm cool with the yard weed. That it was mellow. I'm sure everybody says they call it dirt weed or garbage or whatever, but me, I'm okay with that. That's my tolerance level right there.
It's like some people hate that. Like when I was in Jamaica, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, I didn't mind it, but I gave the guy, like you said, $50. He came back with like, I'm staying with my dad. At the time, my dad's 75 years old. My dad is old school.
Yeah.
Didn't like smoking.
No smoking.
No smoking.
Perfect.
I'm staying in a little like beach house with him for Travis's wedding. And the guy's like, I'll bring you back like whatever you need. I didn't bring any cash. My mom doesn't trust me with any cash over there. So she's like, here's the $50. She's like, what do you need it for? I'm like, don't worry about it. Guy comes back and he puts a sack of weed in like the top of my my toilet bowl. And I take this stuff out. I look at it. I'm like, I need to find this guy. I need the weed that you're gonna smoke. And like, that's what I told him. He came back with honestly some of the some of the best weed that I've smoked. But Jamaica's always a show with that.
That was the whole vibe, just being in paradise and just smoking by the pool, people you don't know, just hanging out.
I mean, my family's from Jamaica, so obviously, like, I'm always advocate for, the culture, the music, the people, the coolness of it. There's like, that's why I say only Jamaica, because for me, when I'm there, I'm at peace. It's like peace for me. So, when I smoked the weed, it mellowed me. It didn't make me. I do have other stories, but I'll save them. It didn't make me paranoid. Because I have smoked some stuff that made me like paranoid, where I thought I lost my mind. But that's a different conversation,
Well, I'm glad you came out of it.
Yeah, me too.
You ever played in Jamaica?
I have.
You performed?
I have a few times. Luckily for me, one of the versions of this "Why I'm Hot" is a reggae remix.
That's actually my favorite remix.
Yeah. So Baby Sham, Junior Reed.
Yep.
And I think what that did was it solidified me, obviously, to the Caribbean culture and the people, but it also is a big reason why I get to tour a lot of places outside of America, in Europe, because there's a lot of people who are deeply rooted in reggae culture. So,
Well, let's talk about that, man. Like, where's your favorite? Where's your favorite spot that music is taking you?
Ooh,
in the U.S. and outside the States.
Got it. Outside, I would say the most memorable performance that means a lot to me would be I did a performance in Sudan, and it was supposed to be a peace concert, but I had to get invitation from the government to come in, and I was the first hip hop artist to actually ever perform in Sudan. I'm sure, and I don't want to snitch on the country. I'm sure there's been artists that have gone underground and done shows, but I was actually the first public artist to perform. So that to me is like something that you can't. I mean, it's an accolade you can't take away. So whenever they look in their history books, you gotta see my ugly face in there. So shout to the people.
You're all right, bro. You're all right.
I appreciate it.
You're listening to the Oven Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, so let's hear about the sushi. Let's hear what you got.
All right, I'm gonna do my best.
I'm waiting for the names right now.
I got uni, yellowtail, salmon, shima aji, lean tuna, madai, otoro, negitoro, maki roll, and then we got wagyu nigiri. And I got my chicken fried rice right here.
And we got the black cod right over here. That's for
black cod. I forgot about the black cod.
I feel like we should try the wagyu real quick.
My disclaimer is I haven't had beef in 8 years or more. Gotta be more.
And the first time's on the oven, baby. I love it.
Yeah, on the oven. So but my boy A. Sean said this is it. So let's go.
It's just over rice?
I guess so. We're about to find out right now.
Are you good?
I don't know, man. I didn't know how. We're doing it?
We're doing it. Wow, it's different.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I failed that. What do you think about what DeSantis just did in Florida? How he banned Chinese citizens from buying land in Florida?
Oh, man.
DeSantis is nut.
Yeah, he's going hard, man.
Yeah.
I'm a Florida resident as well. I have property in Florida. And it's tough, man, because I'll say this. Look, I think that we live in a world that politics has, like, to a normal person. I'm assuming we're all here. We can have real normal conversations. The world's gotten so political that even if you represent any side, if you just step away from both sides for a second and you step in the middle, you be like, yo, this shit sounds crazy over here, and this shit sounds crazy over here.
Fact.
The parties have, like, really just stopped caring about, the middle ground, as I like to say, and they focus a lot on the extremities.
Their own agenda.
Yeah. So if you running for presidency, oh well, I gotta, we gotta go hard on this topic. So I think I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I feel like it's all becoming a game, and I think us as the people, well, at least the people from my perspective is, I don't want to hit my mic, but from my perspective is, not that I stopped paying attention to it, but I can't even look at social media anymore because you start to see things on social media that have been manipulated, and you're like, well, all right, I need to see all the footage, or I need to know the whole story. So it's a...
For years, it's been at the point where you have to watch more than one news network because everyone's lying on it every side.
Or just none at all.
Yeah,
or none. Or you can just smoke some weed and live. I mean, I figure all the people who smoke weed, I'll say this. Anybody who smokes weed, you like, I feel like anybody who's a weed smoker, you're just being relaxed and peaceful. And to me, that's like the best way to live. Like, no problems, like Bob Marley, the Bob Marley lifestyle. Like, don't worry about a thing. Everything's going to be all right. Let's just relax and chill and be a people and live during our times. But,
crazy times right now.
Yeah, I to answer your question, I think DeSantis is making a run for presidency, and I think whoever's in the Republican Party are really, really just pushing the agenda to say let's do everything extreme, and hopefully the American people start waking up and saying, look, guys, like, y'all stop the nonsense. We need to figure out where this common ground is again, because it's getting wild out here.
How amazing would it be if we ever moved to a true 3-party system instead of 2? Maybe we could actually get something done.
Or let's just get all of the politicians high.
Yeah.
And then that way they relax. They're all high and relaxed, and we don't, and we don't.
Let's stop electing 75-plus-year-olds. Like, let's get some people our age in there.
Right.
That's a part of the problem as well.
I'm not political, but that's my political stance.
Term limits is big.
Let's get some younger people involved.
Weed and young people.
Yeah.
That's the solvent of all the problems in America.
You heard it here first.
Weed and the young people.
It's that easy.
Let's do it. Yeah.
MIMS 2028.
There you go.
That's got a ring to it, man. That's got a ring to it.
If we can get enough people to back it, I'm cool with that.
So I want to touch on. I wasn't going to bring it up because I didn't want to beat a dead horse.
Yeah.
But you brought it up. So when This Is Why I'm Hot came out, I was on the younger side. So politics, business, I wasn't too aware of anything like that. Mm-hmm. So then I find out recently that This Is Why I'm Hot brought in about $14 million.
Yeah, I'm going to take a sake drink to this question. Yeah. No, go ahead.
$14 million, and you only collected at the time about $30K.
Yep. Yeah.
But that was just the first check, right?
That was the first check, but it should have been the biggest. I'm sorry for not pouring. I was trying to answer the question. So
You're the guest.
Yeah, I think probably the most important question that people would ask me for my career, and I love this question because I think me having the ability to answer it now from the perspective that I sit at. What I learned about the music industry is that it's very predatory, right? So you take a young artist, and what I mean by that, anyone watching, is that you take a young artist who essentially created something from nothing, right? So a creative person who can come in and say, hey, I didn't grow up with value on anything, obviously, other than life and living, and I'm grateful for that, but I'm going to take my mouth and what comes out of it, and I'm going to create something out of nothing, and I'm going to generate finances based on it. And I think when I tell people about that story, mainly it's because I want them to see how the system works, The reason why they underpaid me, in my opinion, I'm going to speak only from opinion because someone out there could say they have a different perspective, is you pay me just enough that I can't do anything to pursue anything legal, right? So this is a big corporation that collected a lot of money based on a record and an album, and they had the ability to say, hey, here's your cut. And of course, you underpay. So here's what I have to do as an artist and contractually. If I feel like there's a dispute, I have to hire a litigation attorney. I have to hire a forensic auditor. My litigation attorney at the time was about $550 an hour. That was for him. His paralegal was $450. Or he was $650. His paralegal was $450. So anytime I call my attorney, I'm on the phone with him for an hour. That's $650. I went into a 7-year litigation. So you imagine in that 7 years, I racked up a crazy bill on the legal side. Not only that, but forensic audits. In order for you to check the books of any company, you got to audit them. The cheapest price I got for auditing at that time was about $50,000. So I had to kick out $50,000 to an auditor just for them to check the books. The way it works is, and I'm giving people a little crash course on my actual contract, is I have to announce that I want to audit. I have a time period that I can audit in. And within that time period, if that time period passes, I can only audit for the time period after, a certain time period. So I have to hire forensic audits. You have to announce to the label that you're hiring one. You have to give them a certain amount of days to respond to you asking to see the books. Every time we would send a response to them and say we want to see the books, they'd wait to the deadline, which was about 90 days. Yep. Then they'd send a response, or however amount of time it was. Then they'll send a response saying we need more time. Then you send a response back. So in this time, you're paying a lawyer, you're paying paralegal, you're paying an auditor.
For what?
To wait, to basically sit and wait
exactly.
to get everything that you need.
And the crazy thing is, there's no guarantees you're going to win.
There you go. And I think it's done like that on purpose. I'd rather underpay you as an artist because you don't have enough money to come at me as a system. I decided to go full force at the system. And we got to a point in our litigation that we won what they call a summary judgment, which by the way, so after 7 years, all I was really fighting for was the ability to take my case to court. That was what the argument was. Can I take this case to court? A judge ruled that we can take it to court. No company ever wants to sit in court with the David and Goliath theory. I'm the little guy going at the big giant because they know 9 times out of 10 if I'm sitting in front of a jury of 12 people, they're not going to win that case because they're going to be more sympathetic toward the artist. So they appealed the decision to go to court, just to go to court. And then it took another year and some change to get into an appellate court. After sitting in an appellate court, 5 judges review a case within a matter of probably, I don't say no more than 10 minutes. They sit with the case for 10 minutes, they read through a summary of the case, and they then decide the fate of the case in the matter of 5-10 minutes.
After 7 years, 5-10 minutes.
After 7 years. And what they determined was, and I have a clip, and the clip is a little bit misleading online, but I mentioned that their determination was because I got an advance from the label, they assumed the risk of my project. Therefore, they were allowed to do what they did on the financial side. So I don't have the ability to take them to court. And it was so much missed in that I could have pursued and I could have went back in and appealed the appeal, which would have probably cost me another $150,000. I decided at that point I'm going to stop, pump the brakes, stop, trying to pursue any legality, and then try to create a system that made it easier for artists to follow me. So I'm happy that the situation happened because I wouldn't have the knowledge I have now to help other artists kind of excel. And I think that this is exactly where I'm supposed to be on this side of the table, looking at younger artists saying, hey, dot your I's, cross your T's. Watch out for this. Protect yourself against this. Most of the new artists will probably never go through what I went through because of what I went through and having the ability to let them know, hey, watch out for this. And to all the labels out there, I know for them it's a business. Like they do it, and it's more of a predatory thing. They do it on purpose because that's exactly what they can do under the circumstances. I don't think it would have been any different. A lot of people say you didn't read the contract.
read the contract
Who
50
reads
times.
contracts in their entirety?
I mean, like, I'm signing the biggest deal of my life. Like, I know the contract
In and
front
out.
and back. I read the contract, but I think the person who collects the money, what did they say? The person who holds the money holds the gold. So they make the rules. And, you know, I can't force my way into someone's bank account and say, hey, give me my money. And if you know that as a company, you know, what real power does the little person have? But I think moving forward, the power they gave me was to educate artists on how to navigate around those type of situations and scenarios. So yeah, I mean, I got underpaid. I made a good amount of money on a lot of other things in my life. Not being paid for something you worked your whole entire life for sucks. Don't get me wrong, it definitely sucks. But the beauty about that is that the knowledge that I gained from it, I've been able to use that to excel other people's careers and lives, and you know, I'm happy about that.
I listen to the Ed Milet podcast, and he's always saying you're most qualified to help the person you used to be.
Makes
Yeah.
perfect
Oh, yeah.
sense. To that, I'll drink. Yeah, cheers.
For sure.
Cheers.
Yeah.
So, what's the biggest thing? If you could pick one thing, what's the biggest thing you stress to these new artists?
I think what I'd like to say is everyone's situation is different, right? So, for example, and I give good examples so that people could understand. If I come from a impoverished background and I've had nothing in life, and you can excel yourself and get out of that situation and create some type of financial stability. The first thing I would say is always try to look forward, right? So meaning being an artist is cool, but really being an artist is just being famous. You got to worry about the ancillary things around you. So if I'm an artist and I have that fame, what can I do with it? Whose lives can I change? How can I do deals with other people to bring in more income and make things work better? Equity, important word. When I use my fame to help boost another person's scenario, am I asking for money up front for it, or am I going to get baked into the deal? You know, if the first artist on Twitter or Instagram said to Jack Dorsey or whoever the owner of Instagram was at the time, before Facebook bought him, I want 10% equity in the company because of me sending this tweet out is going to mean a lot to your users. That person would be a multi-billionaire. But what happens in most cases, because it's such a predatory industry, especially when you talk about black music in particular, if someone says, "Hey, here's a $50,000 check," they look at the check, say, "Damn, that's the most money I ever had in my life. I'm gonna take the check. I don't want the equity." And I think that I'm able to catch artists sometimes in between that and say, "Hey, look, just look at it differently."
So tell us a little bit about that, man. Like, the video is great.
Yeah.
You know, it's like another little remix to This Is Why I'm Hot.
So I think, so I'll say this. It's obviously another lesson for artists out there when you own intellectual property. Like when you make a song and it becomes IP, you own, you have ownership in something. And with music in particular, I always say this is like the forever syndrome. You could eat off a record forever. For whatever reason, music is not going anywhere anytime soon. We got records from the 70s that are still on the charts. And you obviously have records like mine that are memorable records for people.
I don't mean to cut you off, but bro, you're still getting 500,000 plus, monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah.
So that shit hasn't gone anywhere.
Yeah. I know.
It's still here.
I know.
Bro.
I get amazed when I see those numbers too, and I'm like, a million plus plays a month between all the aggregators. I'm like, that's actually really cool.
A-Rod was using your song as his walkout song for a
There
while,
you go.
right?
So shout out to all the Yankee fans.
That's it.
If you caught one of them home run balls that A-Rod had back then. Yeah, so I mean, listen, it's IP. So every so often I get a call from one of these cool companies. The first deal I ever did was with Microsoft on the marketing side. The second deal I ever did was with Walmart.
Okay.
And then earlier this year, 2023, I got a call. Shout out to my guy Mike. He called me, And the conversation was real simple. It actually sent me an email. I was on a flight. I was going to Germany to do some shows, and I saw the email, and he was like, hey, I would love to discuss like a possible sync opportunity. So, you know, as an artist, like when you see sync opportunity, you know that that's going to equate to money. I'm like, okay, cool. So I sent him a message back before my flight took off. I said, look, I'm in Germany for the weekend. Let's touch base on Monday. And then something told me, like when I was in Germany, let me just reach back out and say, hey, look, if you really want to get a hold of someone, call my business partner, have a discussion with him. But he actually waited. So I said, you know what? I had some free time when I was in Germany, walking around the streets. So let me give him a call. And we got on the phone for about 5 minutes into the conversation. He said, hey, I'm calling. Oh, no, not even 5. 50 seconds into the conversation, he said, hey, I'm calling from Frito-Lay. You know, we have a lot of brands. Hot Cheetos is one of them. So, I already know what the call is. I'm like, my immediate response was, what took you so long? I'm going to tell you what I realized when I shot the video. There's somebody that was on set who had the best job in the world. And his only job was to go on set and make sure that when you hold that bag, you hold it the right way. And when you pull them Cheetos out, you pull it the right way. So they have a rule. I don't know if it's not a written rule, but it should be. When you eat a Cheeto on television, you have to eat the whole Cheeto. You can't bite it, take half. You can't lick your fingers.
Okay.
You gotta take the Cheeto. So I said, man, whenever you retire, I want that job. But that was such a cool experience, and I had a great time there.
That's an interesting rule.
That's an interesting rule.
Well, they don't want people to think it's too hot?
I think it's I'm assuming that they like when people have the residue on their finger.
The cheesy finger.
Because that's what they're known for. So
It's like that, would you rather? It's like, would you rather have cheesy fingers for the rest of your life or feel like there's a popcorn kernel stuck in the back of your throat? I'm like, shit, I'll take cheesy fingers.
I'm taking cheesy fingers, no doubt.
For sure,
day.
100%. That popcorn kernel, that's a killer.
Yeah, that's all time. I'm not a fan of that at all.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Oven Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
What is this? Green tea?
Yep. Strawberry, vanilla.
I like
Mochi?
I'm big mochi.
I love mochi.
I like mochi. So let's
Take first pick.
I'm gonna go with. I'll go with strawberry.
I'll go second.
The good thing it's cut in half.
Oh,
That's on point.
That's cold.
just got my tooth taken out last week.
Oh, really? Oh yeah, that's a tough one. I'll try the green tea now. Let's see. Say green tea is good for you. I don't know if
Matcha. Matcha.
Oh yeah, matcha.
Matcha is some good stuff, man. You're like a Dunkin' Starbucks, either one?
That's rich. Believe it or not, I'm not a coffee drinker.
Not a coffee drinker? Okay.
I'm a tea drinker.
Matcha tea.
I'm a straight. I think it's the Jamaican side of me though. That like I'm like every morning, I boil ginger, and I drink it as tea every morning. Like I'll boil ginger, and I'll have about 3 or 4 cups of ginger to start my day. Ginger tea.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, every morning. And if it's not ginger tea, it's chamomile and mint, and I mix the two chamomile mint together. So
Nice.
I'm a tea guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I can respect that.
I usually do chamomile before bed.
Yeah, I'm a big. I love chamomile tea before bed.
I do. I do it in the morning, and sometimes I do it for bed.
Get your day going.
You know what issue I run into with coffee versus tea? Like right now, I'm intermittent fasting, and if I have tea on an empty stomach, sometimes I get so nauseous.
Right? Green tea, but green tea
But
especially.
I could have black coffee on an empty stomach, and I'm fine.
Really?
It's weird. I don't know. I think there's some chemical inside of
In
tea
tea?
that can cause a certain amount of the population to be nauseous on an empty stomach.
Then I actually agree with you.
I'm
Even
like
though
the
some people are
opposite.
shaking. Even though some people are shaking their heads no over here. What do you got?
Ginger cures nausea, so if you're drinking ginger tea, that's not gonna happen.
So I never really did ginger. Maybe I'll try ginger.
So what's a normal day like, man? Like especially like when back in the day when you're when you're performing all the time.
Ooh, yeah. So it's totally different from now. I'm gonna tell you. So for those who being an artist not for the weak of heart. You realize like a lot of people have like drug problems. A lot of artists end up having, and I realize why. My normal schedule back in the day would be during the height of my career. I'd be working on probably like a 21 hour day. So I'd get 3 hours of rest. And I'm going to give you the rundown. This is just how it is in New York. In New York, we had 2 stations. We had Power 105, Hot 97. I mean, we have Z100 and a few other stations, but for the most part, you have your Power 95, Hot 97. That's your urban, rhythmic, urban and rhythmic stations. So if I'm doing a market like New York, I would have to go do morning show at Hot 97, and I have to go do morning show at Power 105.
Ebro, Charlemagne, all those guys.
Well, I don't think at the time. I don't think Charlemagne or Envy was there.
Okay.
So this is early '07. I'm not sure who was at Power at that time, but finish doing radio, and then you do your press run. So you may do like some press interviews. So depending on like New York, you may go and record a morning show for like Good Day, Regis and Kelly at the time, or Regis Kelly and whoever else.
America and stuff like that.
Exactly. Once you're done with that, you do your afternoon jock. So you go back to the stations, do your afternoon shows, and then you do your more press. You do your nighttime shows at radio, and then you do your club shows. Okay. The normal club shows would be 2 shows in a market or 3 shows in a market that same night, and then you go on a plane and you do the same thing in the next city. So you're doing this for about, I think 3 or 4 months on a natural promo run. You're doing this for 3 to 4 months, 21-hour days. So it's a lot of work.
That's crazy. If I don't get my 8 hours, I'm in bad shape.
8 hours ain't even. You're not even getting. That 3 hours I'm talking about is if you're lucky, you're getting in at 3 in the morning, and you got to get on the plane at 6. So in between that 3 a.m., that's when you find like, okay, I'm gonna sleep in the car on the way to the airport, or I'm gonna sleep on the plane on the way to the next city. So, 8 hours is not happening.
It's like picking and choosing, like your time to sleep now.
I give you a lot of credit.
Well, just because you brought up Snoop, man, like, so he went viral on one of like the podcasts. He was talking about, all these rappers nowadays, they're all like, they're all like the same,
Yeah.
Like, what's your take on that? Because I mean, listen, rap nowadays, like, I feel like rap is more like, I'm not telling you a story, I'm getting you hyped up. I'm trying to bring you out to my concerts, jump around, maybe you can do a mosh pit, like, it's different though, right?
Yeah, I you know what? For me, I welcome different things, right? Because the reason why I welcome different things is because what I realize is that the reason why people love This Is Why I'm Hot so much is because it takes them back to a time and a place.
Hell yeah.
And sometimes you need that. So I don't listen to new music. I listen to all old music. Like I'm Bob Marley'd out, Barris Hammond out. Like I'm all, even old reggae music for me.
Okay.
So I would like to say you're a product of what you listen to. I want to have a mellow day. I want to be chill. So when I'm listening to music, it's never rowdy, rah-rah music. Personally, that's my personal thing. I know that a lot of artists now attribute the music they're creating, they call it vibe music, or like riding the wave, or, I don't want to sound like I'm old, but like, wave driven music. So it's more beat oriented.
Yep.
So if we're going to talk about what I like in the beat oriented space, I'm Afrobeat all the way, because I feel like the rhythm of Afrobeat music and the feeling of it is like positive.
Put you in a good place, man.
Exactly. I'm not a drill music person. I'm there's no disrespect to the drill world.
No, of course.
But it just, I don't want to, my energy is so I was thinking about this earlier today. There's a lot of people in life that have problems, right? And I'm like, yo, you are what you consume, right? So if you always listening to like shoot 'em up, spin the block with the ops and do it, like you bringing that energy into your life
all day.
I'm a 42-year-old father of a 3-year-old. I have no time for any type of negative energy in my life. I'm all like, give me that uplifting, positive music.
Yep.
And it's not to knock on the culture of the younger audience, to each his own. Like I respect it, but if you find every day I wake up, I see about another rap artist getting slain and killed, and I'm like, yo, you at some point you just gotta wake up and be real. Like
I gotta get the hell out of that.
The music,
something's got to change.
yeah, you listening, you predicting your own future by what you listening to, what you consuming. So if you consuming negativity, it doesn't, even if it's not music, if you're consuming that becomes what you surround yourself with. I'm at a point in life now, Ashawn knows this, I don't surround myself around anyone negative. If you have a negative bone in your body, if you having a bad day, don't come around me. I don't want your energy rubbing off on me. Don't rub shoulders with me. Don't touch me. leave that stuff on the other side of the planet. So I'm a stickler for just keeping positive people and positive things around me for sure.
No, I hear that.
Nah, yeah, I like that a lot.
Psychology agrees with you. I mean, studies show that if you listen to violent music, you're more likely to be violent. If you listen to country music, you're more likely to be depressed. If you listen to like Latino dance music, that's like one of the most positive genres that you can listen to, and like the studies show it.
That's why Bad Bunny is winning.
Bad Bunny, mama.
Yeah.
You know who's been, on repeat? Burna Boy?
I just saw Burna at Coachella.
Dude,
amazing.
Man.
He came out with a band. Amazing performance.
He kills it. I wanted to go see him. He was at in Raleigh for the Dreamville. I wanted to go so bad to that, man, because I like I said, for the last probably month or two, on repeat.
Yes.
Like, Too Tall, I'll listen to that Twice as Tall all day.
I love it. I love Afro music. I love Afrobeat music, or whatever the genre they consider it. What they're doing in Nigeria, what they're doing in Ghana, the stuff that they're creating in a lot of the nations in Africa. It's upbeat, up-spirited. I know Kanye made a reference to 808s and how 808 will it comes from a good chakras, a positive chakra. I'm all for that. Like, give me the music that's gonna make me positive. Cause you're right. Like, if I'm in a bad mood and I start listening to something that's talking about dump on the ops and kill it and running, and I'm like, all right, I gotta go get my firearm and find somebody to beef with. I'm road raging and we already in New York, New Jersey.
Products of your environment,
People drive
man.
crazy, so I'm listening to something like that. That might set me off. But if I'm listening to Bob Marley and somebody almost crashes into me, I'm like, you know what? Just be careful next time, buddy.
They're giving you the finger. You're like,
yeah, exactly. Just be careful. Don't worry. Just be careful next time. But yeah, positive vibes only, for sure. All right.
So we popped some champagne.
Now we got to open up the oven, huh?
Yeah. So you could pick out one question. My handwriting's a little sloppy, so you can pass it to me. I'll read it.
oh, you didn't even type these out?
Now, let me see if I can read it, though.
All right,
Let's
all
try
right.
it. All right. Oh, okay. Wait this long. Oh, this is easy. Do you prefer real or fake tits? That's
for you.
Yeah. This is gonna get me in trouble because so I'm a real lover. Like, I like real anything. I'm a real person. So listen. Because this is mansplaining. This is where you get in trouble. You start mansplaining, and then women jump on you. As a woman, you can do whatever it is you want to your body. So I'm gonna be really political and say that I am not here to judge on what anyone else does. There's some people out there that feel better about having fake tits, but I personally like the sagginess. I like the droopiness. I like when they start to like drop and hang and do the orangutan thing. Oh my God! I'm cool with that. I'm cool with it because I know. I've watched the birth of my son, and I know what the woman body endures. I got to watch to see what the woman body can endure, and I think that that's such an amazing thing. So for me, experiencing that, seeing the naturalness of a woman's body when they're pregnant, when their stomach grows, when they get stretch marks, even the little flabby skin that stays when they get, like, to me that's all sexy because a woman's body, just the ability to do that is amazing.
It's a form of baby.
Yeah, to do that. So I know that has nothing to do with the tits, but I'm amazed by it. I remember, and I'm going to give this away. I was in Brazil, and I went to Brazil. I'm probably going to say way too much than I need to say right now, but it's okay. I'm going to say it.
It's a safe space.
Good. It's a safe space. I was in Brazil, and everyone out there kind of is like, not real. They have fake body parts, I guess, or I don't know even what to call it. And I remember this one woman allowed me to like touch, to feel it. Mm-hmm. Like, go ahead, feel it. It's not real, but feel it. And it was so hard. It felt like cement.
Yeah.
And not even that, it was so cold. that I was like, yo, there's no warmth
Because it's just silicone
in
in
it.
there,
Yeah.
right?
So I mean, listen, it could look great. And like I said, to each his own. Like there's probably someone that has it that I'm like, yo, that looks amazing. But for me, I still prefer the sagginess, the deflated look, all that natural stuff. I'm getting head nods in the back, so I know I'm not the only one.
He says it so much more eloquently.
Yeah,
than I'll
you
give
couldn't,
my
like, if
response.
this is Mario's response, I'd be like, nah, I just like fake tits.
What's your answer?
For me, listen, man, I'm kind of with him on that. I like, real. I like when, girls can wear no makeup and walk around and, just be a real person.
But some need makeup.
Yeah, but, see, this is why we have him on the left side.
Yeah,
of the
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here. Listen,
But see, there's something about the makeup thing that bothers me sometimes. You find it, you meet a girl in the club, she got a bunch of makeup on her face, shit happens, you go back to her place, and she take a shower, she come back in the room, and she don't look the same as you saw her in the club. How do you feel about that?
Marison, like, go.
well, then she got me.
So you just like, all right, fuck it, you got me. I'm a fan of natural. I don't mind I don't mind a little acne on the skin. I mean, as a woman, if you feel good about going out and you want to step out, I've seen some women do amazing jobs with makeup. But even the amazing job, to me, is still a more natural look. I'm not the whole cake face. You 10 shades lighter than you was before you started putting makeup on. And then
No, I see what you're saying now.
deceiving.
Like, I mean, if she's ugly, she's ugly, right? But like, if a cute girl can look even better with makeup, like I'm all for it. But like if she's ugly, she's ugly.
I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I'm just, my preference is just a little different.
I mean, I don't know.
Here we go. What's your answer?
He wants to say it raw.
You've been itching over here. What's
I don't
your
know
answer?
what you guys. I'm not into the saggy tits. I gotta say, I can't do it. You know what it is? Like, I was with one girl. I was never a tit guy, right?
Okay.
I was never a tit guy. I was always an ass guy.
Ass man, okay.
So when we were a kid, like I would get made fun of for liking fat girls because like I was already into thick before thick was a thing.
Was a thing.
You know,
Yeah.
like
Right.
I was never into like the thin blondes and all that. Like that was never my thing. But I was with this one girl. We had a relationship, and the first time we saw, the first time we slept together, I was like, "Damn, am I a tits guy?" Like just one of those girls that like she takes off her shirt and they don't move and they're
Yeah.
perfect. And all I need is a handful. That's all I need. I don't need anything too crazy.
Nice,
Anything
not
more
too
than a
much.
handful is a waste. Like I said, I'm an ass man. And then the fake tits, I could do the fake tits.
I have a line in one of my records that says, I said it a couple of times, but I said you can have mosquito bites and I don't care. Like basically, I'm not gonna judge you. It doesn't matter because I'm an ass man as well. So like I like a nice ass for sure. But that's probably why I don't care if you got. I mean, once again, you know what bothers me is it's and not everybody has this, but like if you suck in a nipple and that person has no emotion, it's pointless. So like sometimes I feel like the silicone blocks the feeling. You know? So
No, I see what you're saying there.
the saggy ones, they always have feeling for some reason. Like the nerves are just.
This is a good question. This is a good
Because they never
question for
thought
the
anyone would touch their saggy tits like that.
Yeah, so I'm cool. But honestly, to each his own. I don't want to judge anyone. Beauty is skin deep. I've seen some women with done up bodies that have amazing personalities, and you're like, yo, you're beautiful regardless. And then I've seen some women who don't have as much as a person can pay for, and they just know how to carry themselves.
It's all mental, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it
for
is.
sure.
Well, it's so much more than mental and physical. It's just spiritual. It's just like that energy that you talk about. When you're vibing with the right person, it fits.
I think the real question is, and I think women should be here to answer this. Not any of us men don't have any business saying this, but it's do you really do it for yourself, or is it because of social media? Is it because
Your surroundings, yeah.
now we see every time you turn on social media, you see sexuality. So like when people start to do surgery, I always wonder if that's like programmed. Like, are you getting, bigger titties because of it. Because 2 out of the 3 men here don't care if you got big titties, like, you know. So.
No, I mean social media. They just show you like a perfect life. They show you like the perfect body, and it's like, dog, that ain't it. Like that might be it for you, but I don't know. There's something
go
different
get
angles.
the booty done. We're not worried about the titties.
I actually like saggy titties. Like, I'm dead serious.
No, he's really into
Yeah, like I like them saggy, you know.
Listen, everyone's into what they're into.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, National Geographic. I didn't want to say. He was like, he really liked it. I was like, damn, I don't want to bash him too much. I was like, fucking Nat Geo titties over here.
I ain't mad at it, man. Give me some Nat Geo titties, some orangutans, you know.
What they're worth.
Yeah. I want them to swing like this when they walking. You know? Nah, just fine.
I got one more. I got maybe 1 or 2 more questions before we head out. But this is one I want. Again, I said it in the last one. Like, I wish we would have started asking this question from the beginning. Mm-hmm. One historical figure that you could sit down to dinner with, other than Mario and I. Yeah. And you can answer any questions. Yeah. Dead or alive, who would it be?
Bob Marley said something that intrigued me when he got asked a question about what his definition of being rich was, and his definition was the guy asked him if he had monetary richness, and his response was, "I don't have that type of richness. My richness is life, forever." That was the quote that he said, and I think where I'm trying to get in life is there. Like, that's where I want to be. Mm-hmm. I'm working hard to get to where I don't have a physical want for anything. So there's only 2 people that I see. One is actually still alive, which is Russell Simmons. Like, he really preaches about, just being satisfied with what life gives us and learning how to live with that. I mean, and I know the argument for people is this guy is a multimillionaire, so he can say that now, and I hear that. But I would love to have a sit down with Bob Marley and really see where he was at and where his music took him. I always say this, and this is probably like a great way to close, is that, we talk about segregation, we talk about slavery, we talk about, certain times in life where, we couldn't have this discussion. Like, it wouldn't be us sitting at this table. I think, I look at, and you appreciate the Malcolm X's, you appreciate the Martin Luther Kings, but we don't give enough credit to people like Bob Marley, because when you talk about his music and you look in places in Europe and Australia and how far his music has reached, he literally single-handedly broke down barriers that a lot of people couldn't. That we were trying to still do here in America, but he did it all around the world. So he would probably be a person I would love to sit down with and just have a conversation. And I think that whatever he would tell me would probably be life-changing, because I want to get there. I want to get to where my richness is just being happy about life.
Hell
for
yeah,
sure.
man. That should be everyone's end goal.
Yeah.
For real.
I think on that note, I got real quick. I got to thank my boy Sean for bringing you down. A-Drip, we all got the A-Drip brand hats on right now. Mario's showing his widow's peak instead. And
I got a widow's peak too, so I'm with you on that one. It's there.
Yeah, this
but I got long hair too, so I know that's.
You got the long hair coming out.
Yeah.
And so we got A-Drip brand. Look them up and tell everyone where they can find you.
I'm a ghost, so it's hard to find me, but I'm online. I always like to say, for me, I'm not the super uber social media person, but for any artist out there or anybody who wants to, get into music or technology, feel free to hit me up at MIMS Life on mostly all my handles, and just ask a real question. I like to give away a lot of free game, as I call it, because I feel like I didn't have that when I came in. So if there's insight that I can give someone out there about how I got where I got, come holler at me. Hell yeah, for sure.
Yo, seriously, man. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. This is a great time.
No, thank you. Thank you. I'm almost curious as to what else is in here.
We can do some B-roll if you want.
You want one more?
Let's go for B-roll. Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Clear the throat.
This one's not too bad. This
Okay.
This is more so opinion. When you reach what age does it not count as fucking a MILF anymore?
Ooh. Yo, that's actually a really good question.
I'm 31
What were you doing when that question came up?
I was
Don't-
sleeping
don't
with a
answer that.
divorcee, and I'm wondering, am I still fucking a MILF or am I just old? I don't know.
Damn, that's true.
God damn.
I think it changes with generations. So like, if you were to have sex with what are they? Not Gen Z, baby boomer, then that's a MILF.
Okay.
So I think it has to be like a generation outside of
Okay.
your generation. Doesn't matter how old they are. So when you're like 60 and they're 80, you're still fucking a MILF.
So if she's more than 10 years older than you, you'd say?
I would say 10 or 20.
10.
I think the baby boomers were like. Actually, I'm Gen Z, so I'm like 81. 80 was Gen Z.
Yep.
81 Gen Z. So anything before 80, like 79, is considered baby boomer. So anybody that's born before 1979, that's a MILF.
I feel okay. I don't know. I feel like
So many women gonna hate that one, but sorry, it is what it is. I'm just keeping it real.
my mind's turned from that question. I feel like if you're old enough to be my mom, you're a MILF.
You're a MILF, no matter how old I am.
Because your mom is a baby boomer.
Yeah. Like if you're like 21, let's say 18 years older than me, you're a MILF.
Yeah. But like,
Guilt territory.
well,
Guilt.
now, no, but I get what you're saying. But like me fucking a 35-year-old mom.
30-year-old bills, I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Well, I know. But I mean, like I said, like.
But if you're
But
a
if you're-
30-year-old man messing with a 30-year-old MILF, she's technically just
Another
a
girl.
woman.
Like, I'm just
Yeah,
I'm
right.
a DILF without
Yeah.
kids. Like that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's some women that are 22 and they've got
see, I went 18 for
yeah.
Oh, 18. Difference
Yeah.
of 18 years?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like you automatically assume that, like, just because, like, a girl had kids, like, I guess, like, you know,
She's
that she's going to be
a MILF to somebody.
a MILF to somebody.
Yeah.
But, like,
Oh, yeah.
you, like, being a young guy, like, you just assume, like, oh, it's just going to be, like, looser than other girls, but it's not.
That's not what that question is.
Yeah, the lucid thing is I can't answer that. I think that's a myth, though.
No, but
a myth.
I've slept with some moms that are tighter than
Yeah,
other girls.
that's. Yo,
Which
listen,
I was
can I say
shocked.
something? I'm gonna say something. I'll say this because I think we're in a room full of a bunch of Gen Zers. Gen Z to me is the best. Whatever it is, Gen Z, whatever.
I think I'm a millennial.
No, sorry, millennial. Sorry, you're right. I'm not Gen Z. Millennial is the best one because for some reason, not all, but some of these Gen Zers, they are like Percocetted out, Mollied out. I mean, every single drug you can imagine, and then they start looking like they baby boomers at the age of like. So I feel like there's like a disconnect because I've seen so many people where, you know, someone will look at me and be like, I got gray hairs. You can see them in here. You know?
Yeah, but you don't look like you're 40 years old.
But that's what I'm saying. No one says that. You know, no one be like, oh, you. But I've seen some sorry, I'm messing it up. Gen Zers that are like in their 20s and they look like they in their 50s.
Yeah.
I'm like, I mean, you guys look great.
Thank you.
You know, I'm
Appreciate that.
you know, I'm obviously older than you. You guys look great, but there's some people in that demographic that you'd be like, yo, you know, are you my age? I look at people in their 42. I'm like, they're like, yeah, we're the same age. I'm like, no, we're not. We are not the same age. Prove it. Yeah, because I don't look like that, man. But you know, nah. So I think that we live in different times. So yeah.
Two good questions, man.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta give it to you. This
All the
this
shit you
this
talk
is,
about
this is a
me, bro.
good Tuesday for the Elvin questions. I gotta tell you. Some of them I take them out. I just hand them to him because I'm not even. My mom's watching. Like I'm not gonna.
Yeah, your mom knows what kind of titties you like.
My mom knows what kind of titties you like now too.
This is true. Yeah. That's embarrassing.
You're gonna have some moms at home with saggy titties listen to This Is Why I'm Hot. They're like, yeah.
But you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you. That's my audience. Those are the ones that come out to the shows. Saggy titty moms.
Throw it over the shoulder.
I'm okay. There you go. I'm okay with that. There you go. You never know. I mean, listen. Yeah, saggy titty moms out there. I got nothing but love for you. You know.
You going on tour in the end of summer?
I have a small tour that I'm planning on the West Coast. I'm working on one in Europe, and I think I'll probably plan something bigger. I've been in talks to some companies about doing like a 30-city tour. I haven't been on tour in a while. Tour is not as fun when you're 42 as it was when you were 22. So I'm really selective about the shows I do, and I do have a 3-year-old, so I'm cognizant about the time I spend with him. So, I mean, anybody looking for a MIMS show, I'm going to tell you right now, start, when you see me in your city, come, because there might not be a million more of them. I might decide that I'm not, touring for another 4 or 5 years. But yeah, so if you see me in your city, man, come support.
You're listening to the Oven Podcast. Thanks for tuning in.
We want to give a huge shout out to AJ and the squad over at Nomiya for another unreal meal. Whenever you're in Garden City or at the Roosevelt Field Mall, make sure you stop by for some of the best Japanese food around. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube page, click the subscribe button, and join us next time, because there's always an open seat for you at the Oven.